much the aftermath. We're been able to take in everything that happened yesterday, and you give the guys a day off, and then kind of got to move on to get a little time now for this one before you have to move on.
Yeah, I gave the guys a victory Friday, so they are probably coming in on their own, getting a little bit of treatment if they need it. They're doing a little bit of what they were doing in the weight room, but they're not in the building or required to be today. As a coaching staff, we kind of got up early and watched it. We kind of did our little after-action review as a coaching staff, and we got done with that, and then I was just waiting to come talk to you guys.
The magnitude set in, like how important the win is in the grand scheme. I know you don't try to look big picture, but I mean, obviously you're 2-0 in the division now. You got a tiebreaker onto everything sets up very nicely going forward. As if the other side of the ledger would have developed, you're clearly behind the 8 ball. Do you take that in yet, or is it already passed?
No, like it's always like the importance of the division games are always of high magnitude, and definitely with it being a division game, that's always something that you think about. So like. That's we talked about in the beginning, talked about outrunning the South and winning the South, and the only way you can win the South is if you beat South opponents. So that's always a bigger deal, especially getting 2 back-to-back like that in dramatic fashion, and then being able to get a couple of days off and go set up and get ready to play the next one.
Was there one thing in terms of all the wild and weird things that happened last night that stuck out to you when y'all watched it this morning that you'd maybe forgotten about in the chaos?
It's hard to say you forgot about any of it, but it's just like, the operation of the slider and the timeout, and the slider and the spike, that was absolutely unbelievable. Doing it with 12 seconds, those guys getting up there, the operation by the officials, the operation by us was all very well done and very well calculated. And I couldn't be more happy with that play, that operation, everybody knowing what to do, how to do it, in order to get the stuff done that we need to get done to get in position to kick that field goal.
Apparently, News'll hit 12.5 miles an hour running to get the ball. Does he get a T-shirt for that?
I don't know. I didn't know that, but he may have something coming his way. But certainly was nice. I mean, even when you watch it from the coach's copy, and you watch News'll run down the field, and you watch his buddies come right behind him. Everybody forgets they're protecting. So right after protection, the ball's thrown. It's not like punt where you can leave when the ball's kicked. Ball's thrown, boom. You see those guys take off. All those guys: Caleb McGarry, Chris Lindstrom, Bergeron, Jake Matthews. News was the first one out, and he's getting down there. He's got the ball spotted. We get the ball to the official. The official did a great job of getting in position to tap the ball. Got out the way and allowed us to spike that ball. And I thought it was well done by everybody. Bijan not panicking, moving, standing in the back. The guys being on the ball and off the ball, getting the amount of people that you need to get on the ball and off the ball. That was absolutely outstanding. Well done.
Did you get any clarification on the delay game? I mean, the mechanics of it, because at least from the view, it looked like it was a mechanics issue with the refs, not you guys not being ready. I know you have to tread carefully here. I'm just going to give you any clarification.
It's just one of those things. I got to figure it out and give those guys time to get back to us and talk to us about it, and maybe we'll get some clarification during the week to see what happened there. Yeah, I just wanted a little clarification on the field because I was.
It's a 5 yards, and
that's a huge 5 yards, and I was confused. We're ready to kick, and it appears that the ref's standing over the ball, and we can't snap it, and you get a delay game. It's tough, but again, this game is based on human error, and whoever's fault it was, if it's ours, then just want to know how to fix it, and if it's theirs, then we keep it moving, and we figure out how to win football games.
Go ahead, Josh. Circling back to the spike real quick, what's your first thought when the ball goes to the middle of the field instead of the sideline?
It was well thought about before that. So we
was that the first read on that play?
Yeah, Josh. We went out there and we had to make a decision. It was a quick, fast decision by our guys. We recognized the situation where we were and, kind of thought about some of the things that they would commonly do in that situation. You want to try to get to the sideline, you would say, but it might be a little harder with the defense that they were playing. And we went with our instincts, with our play that we want to call there, and got it called. And we were able to execute that play at a very high level, at a very high tick. And much led chagrin, we didn't do it in the preseason, so we got a chance to get it done. I always take a shot at led about the preseason.
Drake said before the season started, maybe a couple of times, that he wanted to be himself more, kind of make cut loose. Maybe that was his words, maybe it wasn't. I'm wondering if you specifically encouraged him to lean into more of that, or if you just watched that from afar.
So Josh, it was kind of funny. I got the job, and Drake is on the West Coast with me at the time when I get the job, and obviously we waited a little bit before we had the presser, and we did a couple things, hiring people, and I knew Drake was out there on the West Coast, and gave him a call, and he happened to live probably 20 minutes away from me. So we got a chance to meet up for lunch and go out and have lunch together, and I think that was very instrumental when I got a chance to sit down and talk to him and listen to him talk and how passionate he was about the team and how he wanted to do this and lead. And I gave him free reign to be able to do some of those things and be able to be more of himself. And that's exactly what he's done since I've been here. OTA days, going all the way into last week of practice, of really being vocal and being a great communicator with his quarterback, with his other wideouts, with the whole offense, with the defensive guys. Just being a big part of that. And I'm so proud of him, where he's gone and what he's come to, and coming to that for himself, really, because that's what he wanted to do. And definitely us allowing him to be himself and be able to do some of those things is very special for us. Say again?
Where'd you?
It was in the Commons, right? I forget the name of the actual restaurant, but it was in the Commons there, out in Calabasas.
Sorry again. I was curious too. Getting some of the numbers here, I know. 509 and 4 touchdowns. Those stats are not for losers. But, you had nearly a 4-to-1 pass-to-run ratio. Tampa Bay came into the game in the bottom of the league in pass defense. I understand how the game unfolded, but early on, was that the intent, to try to lean on Kirk in the pass game?
It's not, it's like every game's different, you know what I mean? And like the things they do a nice job of taking away your run or limiting the amount of runs and really doing some things that cause a lot of issues within the run and at some points almost daring you to pass. And they dared us a little bit last night, and Kirk made some plays early and often, and it continued throughout the game, opened up a couple things in the run game, probably one of the couple other things opened up. Got the big holding call on one of our runs in there, but that probably would have generated a couple more even balanced things. But when you go play certain games, you go out there and try to win, it's always going to be done differently. This week it happened to include more cow pits, happened to get the ball spread around. We were able to get some of the stuff that we wanted to get across. Some of the things you asked about last week, we were able to do from an offensive standpoint, and that is always fun. And you'll never win a game the same way, and we had to go out there and throw the ball a bunch of times this time, and it worked out for us.
Did it feel like when you came into this situation, the offense you saw last night, did it feel like that's what you envisioned for this offense at its height per se, but on a routine basis?
It's hard to say that when you go out there and throw 58 dropbacks or whatever it was. You probably don't envision that, but you can win in a bunch of different ways. So you do envision that, right? When you got guys like Drake, you got guys like Mooney, you got guys like Bijan, Tyler Algier, Kyle Pitts, and Red. You got all those guys, right? And you're like, hey, man, there's a bunch of different ways you can win, and last night was a different way that we proved that we could. The week before, we won on special teams and defense. This week we won a great offensive performance, and that is the sign of a great team and guys really being together and bonding together and finding ways to win. I was fired about that.
Rush defense, not good to this point. Bottom 5 in the league right now. How concerning is that to you at this point?
Not as much. We kind of addressed some of those issues yesterday until I think it was a 60-yarder popped out. Tori's got all day. She works with me. A 60-yarder popped out. We kind of felt really good about where we were with the rush game. And then the one big run hit, and that's really on us as coaches. We take that one for the players. So, we cleaned up a lot of the things that we wanted to get cleaned up. We took a shot. It wasn't the right shot. They hit a big run on us and got the yards where they were. But to be able to slow some of those things down and be able to address those things on a weekly basis like we did last week, to see the improvement this week was a lot better. So I got a lot of confidence that we'll get a lot of stuff fixed.
There's this one comment from Kirk in the postgame that I've kind of fixated on today, where he's talking about the anticipation that he felt like he had last night with knowing and trusting and being decisive in getting Kyle, Drake, Ray, et cetera, the ball. And I'm curious, you've worked with Matt and Julio and Matthew and Cooper, and is there this underlying innate almost anticipation that a quarterback pass catcher duo has to have in order for the pass game to reach a potential of being successful?
Yeah, you named two really great duos that I was around and saw up close in person. When you're talking about Matt and Coop and the amount of the same page that those guys were on, particularly that Super Bowl year, and just being able to almost read each other's minds. And then having it up close in person with Julio and Matt Ryan, and really Matt Ryan with a bunch of our guys here, being able to know what they really did well and being able to find ways to get that stuff done at a high level. And that stuff takes time. And you see it getting better and better throughout the OTA days. You saw it get better in camp, and now you're starting to see some of the fruits of their labors come to life. And like last night, I described it as it really just becomes muscle memory. And they start to develop a little muscle memory with each other. And those are things that show up on Thursday Night Football when you got a short week to prepare.
For as good as Darnell played, when that drop happened, what was the first thought in your head?
To go hug Darnell, man, because how well he was playing, and to see him jump up and grab that one catch, and I know it killed him and I know it hurt him, but like his teammates, the way they responded and having his back. Jesse Bates, man, how about Jesse? Like, who punches out a ball in that time? Like, who does that? And like, who makes that play? Who is that thoughtful and got that much intent on getting the ball back and really giving us a chance to go out there and win the football game? And like, so I was really just wanting to go hug Mooney, to be honest. And like when he had that big drop, and like those things happen. That's what this game is, right? It's just the game of heartbreak. But like to watch us go out there and compete at a high level and find a way to win that football game with, those guys, and like walk-off touchdown in overtime, man, you can't beat that.
Yeah, Coach. Working on my quarterly grades here. I think I'm okay, except for on special teams. How you feel the units have performed over the first, a little bit over a quarter now? And then you talked about your coordinators and the coaching staff. You can see the team progressing and coming together over 5 games. How's your staff been performing for you?
Outstanding. Staff, I'm really fired about that. That's always going to be a steady growth. Like you either growing or you're not, right? And I think that's got to be a growth mindset for all of us. So we always got to have a growth mindset when it comes to the staff. As far as the special teams, because you feel good about defense, you feel good about offense, but like special teams have been playing outstanding. Right, last night wasn't our best showing, right, in the coverage units, but the week before they basically won the game, and they've been playing outstanding. So like last night was a little bit disappointing in some of our coverage units. They had some big time returns, and then they got the block field goal, but. To watch those guys bounce back, Richie Grant making a big tackle, to watch those guys bounce back with Koo kicking a big field goal at the end, despite the penalty, to give us a chance to get in overtime and win it was absolutely outstanding. It's what it takes. So like, I feel great about all of our units. I feel great about where we're going. I feel great about what we're doing. And I'll let you write the grades, but I'm pretty fired up about the guys.
Will you watch Carolina play on Sunday?
I'm going to watch everybody play on Sunday. I mean, this is the best part about Thursday night. Get home, sit on your couch, watch the Red Zone on one channel. Put the local game. Oh, you crazy! Put the local games on. Put the other games on all the rest of them, man. It's like awesome, man. You got a bunch of TVs in the same room, man. Watching it all, man. I can't wait.
I was speaking at a function Wednesday, and Coach Cottrell said hello.
Teddy Cottrell. Teddy Cottrell, man. It's like he was defensive coordinator for the Jets when I got my first internship there.
He talked about it.
And you just
had to do all the stuff on the card.
You tell Teddy Cottrell I'm just doing my job. He'll get a laugh next time you see him.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's it.